What's up, Derek Wilder? What's up, everybody coming in? Welcome in. Welcome to the live. Tap that screen, share the live. Let's get some people in here that want to jump in the panel and have these conversations. Let's get a dialogue going.
No, I'm not okay. I'm very, very unokay. Sort of the only friends I've ever had.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I see y'all coming in. What's up, Three Feathers?
I was the best thief in the world. Fast, fearless, and vengeance. I just had one thing left to steal.
Golden and double. So you went after it.
You just go after it. I had it.
Don't be afraid to drop those comments. Don't be afraid to request that box. I welcome everybody. Opposers, echo chambers, whoever wants to talk. Let's get it cracking. Hip hop does not belong to anyone. Everyone leave the kids alone. Caribbean people don't identify with color. Get over it. And everyone can experience and display racist behavior.
Now come on, let's get inside. You look like you just busted out of a prison.
So this is the hideout of the Great Crimson Bar.
Let's get some peoples up in her.
I'll be time, but you do you.
I'm going to be there a lot. Welcome, Diane.
Our first guest request. What do we got? It's No Name.
Hello.
What's up, man?
What's up? What's up?
Chilling.
Man, I feel like I hopped in your live early the day before, but must be tripping. I don't know.
So you was in the live earlier. You was in the live this morning.
Yeah, okay, baby. I think my phone cut off, but well, I guess kind of like I don't know if it's gonna be the same topic because I forgot what we was talking about. But for the first topic, once you answer the question of it being racist or prejudice, what's the next step?
Can you ask the question again?
So after we decide if anybody can or cannot be racist, what's the next step after that? Like, if the goal is to absolve racism, what's the next step after answering this question?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer for that. If I had a resolution for solving racism, that's what I'd be talking about. But I think the beginning of it, like kind of like what we were talking about earlier, I think the beginning of that would require everyone to stop upholding the construct of race in general.
Mm-hmm. Could you give me another scenario where you would apply that exact same logic?
As not upholding the construct of race?
No, like, could you give me another scenario where if you wanted to fix something, you would fix it by not like referencing it? Where else would you use that logic?
I don't know, man. You tell me.
Well, I'm saying that because I believe that, like, by doing that, it would be counterproductive. So that's why I'm asking you, like, because it seems like you would have this line of logic with this, but you wouldn't apply it with anything else in life, right? So if you had an issue, and you wanted to fix it, you wouldn't like not uphold the concept to fix it, because what happens is if you don't uphold the concept, the issue would still happen. We just literally wouldn't have a word for it. You see what I'm saying? Like the issue would still persist. But since you want to say, hey, let's not uphold the concept, now we can't even talk about it because the concept doesn't exist, but the actual problem still exists. So that's what I'm saying. Where else would you apply this logic? To me, I don't see nowhere else where this line of logic would make sense if the goal is to absolve that thing that's in question.
Right. Well, with something like racism, everybody wants to talk about issues like how we could fix that issue. And I think people live in this fantasy land of like where we could solve racism and end it overnight. And I tend to think in a different way of like I was saying, if we could stop upholding the construct of race, that would slowly begin to start fixing it. I mean, and this would take a while. If people stop seeing themselves as a color, people stop looking at other people as a color, then racism is slowly going to fade out. Yeah, racism's always going to exist. I mean, we have the elitist and we have people that are raised in Peckerwood type families or Yahtzee type families, you know what I'm saying? And they're going to have those ideologies regardless. But if we're like a lot of people say that racism has to come from a place of power, if we take away the people identifying each other and themselves as a color, well, then the power goes away. The offense goes away if people don't see themselves as how people are being prejudiced towards them as. So it's a slow start to a fix. I don't have a full answer to the fix. Otherwise, I'd be out there fixing things.
Got you. So could you give me a logical connection of how not upholding the term would therefore reduce the racism? Could you give me a logical like a cause and effect of how that would logically work? Because you're saying that.
Yeah, I think
my fault. Go ahead.
I think I just did, and I think that I did earlier. Like, if people stop seeing themselves and other people as a color, well, then how does racism work? Like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to make assumptions or say any racial slurs towards you, but if you were in a store and someone said like a racial slur towards you, expecting a certain reaction out of you, so they can call the cops with their tears and do all that Karen shit, well, you're not giving them the reaction that they want. Therefore, they can't continue with their plan. They're not going to be able to call the cops and get you arrested. They're not going to be able to cause an entire type of scene because when they said that to you, you weren't offended because you don't even identify yourself as black or white. You know who you are.
Mm-hmm. But I would say it's not about me being offended, but about the actual action itself, right? So if somebody did something wrong to me because of the color of my skin, and I said, well, I don't consider myself black. Well, even if I don't consider myself black, that doesn't negate the fact that somebody just did something immoral, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see how not giving it a name would actually fix the actual problem that happened, right? Because by not giving a name, we'll simply just not give it a name. The issue will still happen. We just won't have a way to talk about it. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like,
I get what
how
you're
does that
saying, but I
logically
think
make
we're
sense
at
to
like
you?
I get what you're saying, but I think we're at a standstill here. Like it's not, my ideology is not going to completely fix racism or reverse racism, but like I continue to say, it's a start.
To be quite honest
Okay.
with you, I actually agree 100% with the host. Because despite my family members being of dark complexion, I don't consider myself African American. I don't even consider myself black. I'm a human being.
There you go.
Right, and I get that, right? I promise you I get that. But what I'm saying is that regardless of what you identify yourself, there is still going
I
to be this
actually kind of
phenomenon.
resonate a little more with the white population than I do black. So if anything, you call me white.
Cool. So regardless of what you would identify yourself as, there would still be a phenomenon that happens where a group of people would be prejudiced towards another group of people. That would still happen irregardless of if you identify of that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see the
Right, but
logical connection.
with that is if we're not identifying ourselves at all with a color, the people who are still prejudiced towards a color don't have the power to make you do anything reactionary to their racism.
They would. They just would not talk about it. They would not have a name. They would still do the action. They just wouldn't have a word for it. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, if you take away the concept, okay, we can't talk about it, but you can still do the thing. Like, you can still do
Hey,
it.
brother. That's what I had to
Can
do.
you?
Because once upon a time, I thought I was black too. But then I came to realize the truth in my true nature and who I truly am.
Right. Look, I promise you I get that. But could you respond to like my actual sentence, what I just said? My sentence is that if you take away the name, that doesn't stop the actual thing from happening. And if we want to fix the actual by not giving it the name to even talk about is counterproductive, because now we can't even have a conversation because there's no words, but the action is still being happened. Could you respond to
Can you
that
give
line of logic?
can you give me an example of the actions that you're talking about?
Yes. So if you had, let's say for instance, right, hypothetically, you had a black guy, and every time a black person came into a store, he would serve them. But then every time a Caucasian person comes in, he would not serve them, right? We would all agree that that is bad. Now, if you were to come in here and say, let's not uphold black and white, okay, I'll say, okay, I agree with you. But even if I agree with you, that man would still be prejudiced to other white people. Even though we don't have a name, doesn't take away the fact of the actual action. That's kind of what I'm saying. Not giving
I
it a
get
name
you.
doesn't do
So
nothing. It just
so
makes the problem.
at that point with that example, right? Whose problem is that at the end of the day? You don't get served at this store because that dude's prejudiced, right?
Yeah.
So is that his problem? Is that something that he needs to work on? Or are you gonna let that fuck up your day and give him the power behind racism?
Yeah, so if in the scenario I gave one person, right? If one person did that, okay, cool, I'll just go to the next one. But living realistically, it's more than one person. And in that case, that affects me as well as it affects the person that is doing the immoral action. So to answer your question, it affects both if it's enough people. And in real life, it is enough people. So it's both people that affects it. So by not giving a name is so counterproductive to the situation to me. Like, that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't have that line of logic for nothing else in the world, right? Let me give you another example. If you had your tire blew out, right? And you wanted to fix the tire, you wouldn't come tell me, hey, let's take away the concept of a tire. Because you can do that, but the tire is still broke. That doesn't fix the actual problem by taking away the concept. We want
Right.
to fix
And
the
and
problem.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that if we stop upholding the construct of race that fixes the entire problem. So that like that analogy doesn't really align with what I'm saying here.
Okay.
I know that this isn't going to fix racism. I think I've stated that multiple times, but it's a start to dissecting the machine that is racism.
Okay. So let me refine my analogy. Let's say my tire broke, and then I came to you, I said, bro, I want to fix my tire. And I said, what you think of fix my tire? And you said, take away the concept of tires. By you doing that would not start, it literally wouldn't start nothing. Because you say it's going to start something. It wouldn't start nothing. What would
Well, yeah,
start it?
and when we're talking about tires on a car,
Right.
where a car needs tires in order to function, yeah.
Right. And so I'm taking that analogy and I'm mapping it back. Because what I'm doing is I'm exposing your principle. Your principle is if you take away the concept, something gets started. And I'm going, that never worked. You will never take away a concept. And in turn, that starts the revolution of the thing you just took away. That logically doesn't make sense, regardless if it's a tire, if it's cyberbullying, if it's racism. That logic is just counterproductive. That's what I'm saying. Like, that will
I
never
could
start
see how
nothing.
that logic is counterproductive for a lot of things, but I don't see how it's counterproductive for what we're talking about right now. That's why when you asked me the question of if I could give an example of how I would use that ideology for something else, I couldn't give you an answer because it doesn't make sense for tires on a car. It doesn't make sense for cyberbullying. It makes sense for racism. It makes sense for the construct of race, though. If you
Right.
really think about it, if you really dig deep into it, it does make sense.
So could you give me the meaningful difference that would separate that line of logic versus everything else? And when I say the meaningful difference, I mean whatever your answer is, I'm going to take that answer and I'm going to compare it with something else. And if it like logically doesn't make sense, then that wasn't a meaningful difference because you're saying that race has this special thing that we have to approach it different. And I'm going, well, what's so special about it that the literal logic doesn't apply? What's the meaningful difference of that?
The meaningful difference. Look, I'm trying. I feel like I'm just repeating myself here at this point. Um, we can talk about all kinds of different analogies, right? But an analogy doesn't work unless it is in reference or it is relatable to what we are talking about. Okay, if you can give me an analogy for something that does align with what I'm talking about here, then we can do that. But when we're talking about racism versus a car tire, it doesn't work.
Okay,
Just
so
like you
I'll
did
give you a
earlier
perfect
with the,
one, and I'll
just
do
like
you an
you did
extra.
earlier, just like you did earlier with the cyberbullying concept, and you tried to separate cyberbullying from bullying, and how cyberbullying is a construct. It doesn't work.
Well, I would say, well, that would be you for you to disprove, because I gave an analogy and then I gave you two reasons why that analogy is applicable, right? So if you're saying that the analogy isn't applicable, it would be on you to refute my 2 points that I gave you. So me bringing up cyberbullying, the reason that it's analogous to racism is, one, both of those are socially constructed. And also, both of those oppress a group of people. With those two things being true, that is enough to make an analogy between them. So now it would be on you to tell me why those two analogies are false.
Okay, so what specific group does cyberbullying affect? What specific group does cyberbullying affect?
The group of people that are on the internet experiencing that bullying.
So
That group of
everybody.
people. No, not everybody, because you could be on the internet and not experience it. That's why I said specifically the group of people that experience it. That's the group.
You can pretend all day. The fact is, racism is real. It's tangible. You can't wish it away. That's facts. Racism is real. It is a thing that is happening today, and you absolutely cannot just take it away. Which is why this is the topic of discussion. We can sit here and we can talk about the beginnings to how to reverse racism, but I don't think anybody has the answers to how we are going to stop racism overnight. And I feel like that's where this conversation and his line of questioning is going, is he wants a answer from me of how we're going to fix racism. And I've already
No, I
stated
don't.
three different.
Respectfully, I don't. Look, I promise you I'm not. I'm simply just trying to show you that if you want to fix something, it would make no sense to take away the concept of the thing you're trying to fix. That, like, within that sentence is literally counterproductive. You can't fix something when you've
Okay,
taken away the concept. It's
I got
nothing
you.
to
I
fix.
understand. I understand. You said that a couple times now. So now can you
Right. Can you
explain to
address
me,
that? Can you address that
hmm?
line of logic, please? Because,
Do
like,
I address that line of logic?
yes. Because that's the line.
I mean,
I'm sorry, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
no, you good, man. You good. So with the construct of race, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How does upholding the construct of race start to reverse racism?
Because
How does that work in your head?
if we uphold the concept, we now have something to target, right? And so, like with anything else, if you're trying to fight something, you can't fight it if you took away the concept, because humans can't talk about it. Literally don't have a word for it. That's what I'm saying. Like, it logically doesn't make sense. By you taking away the thing you're fighting for, like, we just don't have words, but the thing is still happening. So by upholding it, it now creates two people that's across the world. We can have a conversation about this thing in order to fix it. But you're saying take it away. And so now that person across we can't even talk about it.
So, right. So, in the world today that we live in, right, where we have been identifying ourselves as race for as long as we've been doing it, for racism has existed for as long as it has existed for, um, it just really doesn't. Your logic is just not making sense to me.
Explain how?
Huh?
Could you explain how my logic isn't making sense?
Yeah, no, I think I've done that a couple times already. So it's not making sense because you're assuming that I am saying that we take the word away completely and we somehow just reverse the past and race doesn't exist anymore, right?
No, no.
Even if we were to stop upholding the construct of race and people stopped identifying themselves as a color, people know that race still exists. I mean, we have a great history of racism and how race was started in this country and how race is a construct. Everybody knows that. I mean,
Right.
maybe not
So what
everybody.
sense would it make to take it away?
Because we're not identifying ourselves and other people as a color. People will still understand that race and color still exist.
So if we understand it, then the concept is still here.
Yes, but we're not like I explained to you before, we're not identifying ourselves and other people as a color. Therefore, when someone is being interpersonally racist to you, spitting racial slurs at you that has to do with black or white, you are not going to be offended because you identify with your ethnicity, your tribe, whatever. And that's not something that would offend someone who doesn't uphold the construct of race.
Right. But you didn't say originally to not identify. You said take away the concept in
No, I
itself.
didn't. No, I didn't. I said
Well,
I've literally repeated myself multiple times. Yeah, not upholding the construct of race means not identifying ourselves and other people. It doesn't mean we're taking it away. It doesn't mean that we're just erasing history. That's not what I'm saying.
okay. Okay. So let me just ask you for clarification. Did the earlier topic today say this? Did it say if you hate racism, then why uphold the concept? Did it say that?
The
Okay.
Construct.
construct. The
The construct,
construct.
right. Right. And so you notice how you said you didn't say nothing about identity. You said the construct itself. That's what I'm focused on. So when you're coming in here saying if you don't identify it, you won't be offended. Sure, but I'm not talking about identifying. I'm talking about
But I
what.
am though. You're trying to flip the narrative of what I'm saying. I've literally done nothing but repeat myself to you since this morning. This
Well, no,
conversation
I'm talking
hasn't
about
gone
the top.
anywhere.
We
We're
just
still in the
agreed the
same place
topic
that we
said
were at this
construct.
morning.
So,
We just literally now agreed that the topic said construct. I'm talking about that. That.
Hmm.
So if you're coming here saying like I'm not like I'm literally focusing on the thing you typed in on your screen. That's what I'm doing. I'm adhering
Okay.
to your.
Do you realize that
everyone.
do you realize that if we were to stop upholding the construct of race, that doesn't erase history and people still understand the construct of race, right? Do you understand that?
No, because if you take it away, there's no construct to understand. It's gone.
But it's something that's already existed for many, many years. So that's just not going to go anywhere.
So then why are you saying taken away and you literally just said you can't take it away because it's been here for years? You just said you can't take it away, but then earlier your thing said to take it away. Like which
I
I guess
said
which one
not
is
to
it?
uphold. Okay, so this conversation's not going anywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and stop feeding into that.
Thank
What's
you,
up,
man. I
brother? How
was
you
like,
doing,
what
man?
the fuck? Yeah, I'm doing good, brother. I apologize. Last time I was on the live stream, I was just running through that, toxic video with misinformation, and I think I was doing several things, and you tried to join on one other thing, and I apologize 'cause I was trying to get that done, but I did want to give you a space on my live, and I didn't get that chance, so I decided to come out here and let you. Maybe you had a question or anything you want, something maybe you wanted to share with me.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
can give it up,
absolutely,
guys.
brother.
Go ahead, brother.
Peace and love, all respect from
Absolutely.
my side. I've been hearing a lot. I really just wanted to get some clarity on the situation that's
Go
going
ahead,
on with
brother.
you.
Yeah, of course,
So I, I
100%.
I've been working. I've been working for the last couple days. So every time I get on live, you know what I mean. I just hear bits and pieces of whatever the fuck's apparently going on with you. So if you could just clear that up for me and let me know what you're being accused of or whatever.
Correct. Yeah, I just finished making a content video about it. I said I wasn't going to create video on it. I didn't really post any like receipts or none of that. I just wanted to run through just a basic short video on it. I've done the lives. I did a live yesterday. It took hours. I was breaking it down, but real quickly, if you don't mind, can I play what the video says here on your live stream just real quick so we can go step by step real quick if you had
Yep.
time? So I could show you exactly where we're at with it. So let me go ahead and break it down real quick. Unfortunately, I might have to let me see here. Jump onto a different account just so I can have access to this video and play it properly.
Yeah, you're good, brother. Do what you got to do.
So let me go ahead and turn on this blue, or maybe it should be, you should be able to read it here.
Okay.
So let
Here,
me
you
see
know,
here.
as a matter of fact, I'm. Oh
Yeah.
wait,
I'm gonna
never
say
mind. Never
something that is
mind.
probably gonna get me attacked right now.
Oh, sorry. What was that before I start? What
No,
was
go
that?
ahead, bro. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna play the video that was said about me. I'm gonna try to break it down step by step. This one video because I'm thinking that's the one you're asking about, and I want to be as clear as I can. If you guys have any questions or if you do, bro, just ask me. It's all good. So I'll share it with you real quick here. So let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Verga.
Red Road Warrior, what is it with you and your treatment towards women? What is it with you and your entitlement to tell another woman whether or not she was SA'd? What is it with you and your entitlement to speak on another SA's story and situation? What is it with you in allowing an N-word with a hard R to be said on your live that you are hosting and you not check it right then and there? What is it?
Okay, so we're gonna acknowledge both of those things. So the first one, the whole essay thing, first ex and the victim, they were in a romantic relationship. I want to make that as clear as water. The essay victim, she was actually part of my live stream. I had a whole live just for her. I did a whole live a few months back just for her to share her, her story, and she did. They were in a relationship. She was previously SA'd, so she had a flashback or a reaction because they were both drinking. They were the experience with X and her. This is what she shared on my live stream, bro, and we listened. 400 people were there listening to her, and she said that I guess they were both drinking. She laid down. He tried to make out with her. He got up, want to go get protection for himself, came back. She was like dozing in and out from what he told me and what she said. They were both intoxicated. So she lay down, passing out, waking up. So he tried to make out with her again and try to, do it with her. At that moment, she snapped out of it or woke up or whatever it could have been. And she said no, she had a flashback, and he stopped. That's what she shared with me. That's what his story is, and that's where it's being dealt, which way they're dealing with it. She said she was not going to bring this topic up on social media, like social platforms. That's what she said, brother, on my live stream. She's been honorable, and he's been honorable not to bring it here too. I talked to him personally on Instagram too. He said he loved her, like they were being cool, but a lot of the people that are not involved in the situation have been making it worse for him and her because they continue to bring it up, and that triggers her because of her previous essay that she did go through in the past. So, she said she didn't want to bring it up on her platform, and we haven't. We haven't brought it up. She didn't brought it up. He hasn't brought it up. They've dealt with it honorably outside of TikTok, brother. So that's where that came from. The only reason it was brought up this time is because Chris, she went into my live stream. We were just having a conversation, all of us, just conversation on indigenous erasure, whatever the topic could have been. And then she brought up the whole essay thing. And, and I think Jones, he's new to my platform. I don't really know him that well. He's been joining my live streams. I don't know what's going on, but I guess they knew each other or something, and they were going, they were kind of yelling at each other there. I was trying to figure it out. I was trying to give them the respect to I was trying to figure out what's the deal with them. I kept muting them, and then she finished sharing her story or whatever. She was kind of pissed off with Joan. She didn't want to be there, and Chris left on her own. So that is everything that could have happened. In a nutshell, bro, that's everything. There's nothing more to that. And from that, people took recordings. I think, to me, bro, I don't want to say it this way, but I think Chris went in there intentionally. This is what I think, because what a coincidence that right away she went to Alex, who's been, attacking me for over a year for no fucking, I don't know why she's so mad at me. But that's pretty much it, brother, regarding that. Do you have any question regarding that before I jump on the next thing she shared there, the N-word?
So yeah, I want to know what the importance is to you of the girl who was essayed, or being essayed by her boyfriend. Why did that need to be made clear?
Well, because they were in a romantic relationship. They were actually. It's not like she was somebody from. They were in a relationship, so they'd kiss, they'd call each other, they'd go out on dates. They were in a relationship. So, that's the reason why I was like, well, I got to understand, I don't know what the situation is. And again, this is, right now, this is your house, bro. This right here is your space. This is Cuba. This is your space, bro. My space, I don't know why that's being brought up into my platform. Not even my platform, but my house. This is your house right now. You have control over this. If we mess up or if you mess up, you're the one that's going to get suspended, You're the one that's going to be bananaed, So you have to take care of your home. This is your home, and I'm a guest here, and I want to be as respectful as I can. And I'm visiting you because I know you visited me and I wasn't able to bring you into the panel at that moment, but I'm here now to clarify anything, bro. So they brought it into my home, they brought it into my space, and I don't know why they did that, but they did. And so I've been essayed 3 times in my life, one when I was 5 years old by indigenous women, family members, distant family members. another indigenous woman at the age of 8, my babysitter, and then a person I went out, which was she was mixed, Mexican and white, and I had never drank alcohol, and she alcoholized the shit out of me. I was laying down like not knowing what the fuck, and she got on top and pretty much took advantage of that situation. I can't blame. I didn't really see it as SA so much until hearing more and more experiences, because we were in a relationship, but we were fresh in the relationship, and I never asked the guy. I really wanted to just kind of get to know her first, but alcohol and she had a lot of experience with it more than I did. So, anyways, brother. So I think I've been also. People have invalidated my experience. They have not looked into how I feel. They want me, and that's the reason why I gave this girl the space on my platform, bro. Because I was trying to understand her, and question her, and not question, but learn her story and the situation. And she understands that he loves her. He loves her till this day. He still loves her. And I talked to him, and he said he hopes that all of this can, they can work it out. But I think they're still settling things like this in the courtroom, and I'm not a courtroom, I'm not a judge. I don't get paid to to judge people and do none of that. I just hope that they don't bring these kinds of topics into my house, like for you so as well, brother. So yeah, that's my point on that. Now, if you don't mind, I'll jump into the end side, but I'll wait till you feel comfortable with that. To the N word.
Yeah, I just got one more question for you on that part of the topic. So do you see how people could feel like they need to attack you or feel like they need to stand up for this woman, and they could be seeing what you just said to me as downplaying somebody's essay just because she was in a relationship with somebody? I get what you're saying, but do you see how people misunderstand you?
I think what it is, bro, is Lex, or LEXX with the Fizz, that account, Alex Faith or Miss Latios, whichever way she wants to identify. She's been trying to come at me for quite a long time, brother. Since the beginning of me being on this platform, I've been constantly harassed. She's been constantly, trying to get me suspended, banana, removed, silenced. And I just feel like if it would have been somebody else complaining, it wouldn't be an issue. She's the only one that made this video complaining about it and trying to provoke more drama in our community, especially focusing it on me. When I had no control, that Chris came in and brought this whole topic up on my house. She was yelling, and they were both getting into it. And this is my house. Like, this is your space right now. People should be respectful of your house. This is your space, and we need to be respectful. And I think my space was disrespected. It was recorded against my consent, and then used against me for no reason. I was just sitting there like you are right now, like I had no control over their arguing about each other, So I'm definitely not invalidating anything. I think, and I highly recommend people, if they know that their friend is S8 or going through a situation where she needs help, I think instead of getting on TikTok, they should definitely reach out to the nearest police department, reach out to an attorney, and get that person locked up like Nathan chasing horse. Nobody came out here, and we weren't doing juries here on TikTok. It was being done on a courtroom, and he's in prison, and he's facing justice right now. We don't have the power. Even if she was right, we don't have the power to stop anybody from doing what they want to do on this platform. They need to call an attorney, call the proper authorities and get the proper justice, But I stand with her, and that's why I gave her the space in my platform. It was like 500 people on my platform that day, and she was just sharing her story with all of us, And she said she didn't want to talk about it on social media, and she wasn't going to bring it up again. But I don't know why people are bringing it up when she had already agreed she didn't want to deal with this because she's dealing with it in the courtroom. That's all, man. I don't have nothing. I'm not invalidating nothing. That's why I'm here, And she's got her voice too and her space to share their story as many times as she wants. But I just don't think she's been doing it anymore, So
right, and they definitely should be. They definitely should be keeping this business in the courtroom. I agree with that. This ain't none of nobody's business, and it shouldn't be blasted by other people that aren't between those two. If it's not those two, I don't think nobody should be talking about it. Me personally, 100%. I feel uncomfortable talking about this situation because I don't even know who you're talking about.
I don't even know them.
I got you.
I don't even know them too. I just know that. Well, I know X has reached out to me on Instagram to share the story. Little Mike and Funny Bones, I don't know if you heard about them. They're on the Res Dog show. They're doing a season, I think another season. And they talked about it. They were on my live. Well, I didn't share it this time, but on DM, on Instagram, they shared it with me too. And, they've been honorable individuals. And there's a lot of other honorable indigenous people that are well known who feel that this is between them. It is an issue that they're dealing with as a couple. you know, this triggered her and it caused problems within their relationship. But like I said, he stopped. He didn't go. He didn't continue to perform anything on her when she had that flashback. He stopped immediately and apologized. But by that time, they were both alcoholized, and you know she was already triggered. So you know, that's why people probably shouldn't be drinking too, you know, especially if you're not in a serious relationship. Because that's what happened to me. I made the mistake when I was 16 to drink with this one girl. She got me drunk as fuck, and then SA'd the shit out of me, and I had nothing to do with it. Me as a man, I thought it was normal, bro. Because I'm like, well, you know, I lost my virginity, whatever. I didn't know it was my first time I got drunk, but you know, as more and more I hear these stories, I know that I was a victim of that individual because she was already experiencing this, you know, so. Anyways, bro, that's my part on that, bro. What do you think? Should we move over to the next topic or just kind of more questions on this?
Yeah, I kind of just want to make another statement, and you don't even have to respond to it, man. We could just move on to the next part of the story. But I personally think just because two people are in a relationship and there's alcohol involved, that definitely does not downplay the fact that it was an SA. That's my personal opinion. I feel like a lot of people feel like that as well. And it's like I said before, I think everyone needs to just shut up about it because this is an essay that ain't got nothing to do with nobody that's talking about it right now. So keep that shit in the courtroom, keep that shit out of your mouth. Let's stop. Not that I'm saying this is what you're doing, but I'm sure there's other people doing it. Stop downplaying an SA. Whether or not they were in a relationship or drunk or not, it's still wrong.
So I guess the reason I even brought the drinking part is because my experience, I had never drank. That's my experience at the time when I was 16 or 15, 16. And it did it did affect me because I didn't feel like myself. You know, I was not feeling like I would. I was not as conscious. I was messed up. I was lean. I was tore up. So I think a lot of times when people go out to clubs, especially women, or you know, I'm gonna focus on women right now. If they go out to a club, they don't know who they're out there with. You know, they start drinking with other guys. They will try to get them drunk, high, in some kind of drug, whatever, just to take advantage of them because it does affect your senses. You're not in your full senses, so it does impact your decision making. And overall, just your consciousness. You're not where you need to be fully conscious if you're under the influence of some kind of drug or alcohol or something, especially if you've abused it to the point where you're no longer conscious fully of what you're doing. And that's what happened to me. That's the only reason I brought it up, bro. But to each their own. Like you said, I just think it doesn't involve me. I don't know why it was brought to my house, to my space. That's all. I try to handle it the best I could.
So yeah, you can move on to the N-word part if you'd like.
So the N-word part here, she said I allow people to come. I didn't. Heron or Heron, for one, I really didn't really talk to him because I'm friends with Cuauhtliome. Well, not really friends, but I have, you know, I cross paths with her and I'm okay. And Heron and them, they have an issue going on. I guess he SA'd her. I don't know. They have their own stories too about that. I don't want to get too deep into that. The point is that Heron was on my live stream and I've been cool with him. I don't have an issue with him. He shares his experience. I don't know about SA. Like I said, I'm just going to focus on the N-word. He went out and shared his story because he was, I think the original boys, he was on my live stream. Several people were on my live stream, and they were talking about, Heron brought up the fact that melanated indigenous people get more heat regarding discrimination. You know, if there's a protest, he says they're targeted more by police. They're targeted more your melanin-based, you know, by race, the white tea people or racist individuals. And so he said the N-word was used as a slur against him multiple times, and that it really hurt him, and that I believe that, you know, that's what he said. He was sharing the story about how the N-word was used against him. It was used on him to bring him down, to discriminate him, and that's why him as a speaker, I would have thought he would have known, like here on this platform, you don't want to say the word, you could just say the N-word, and he'd be good with that, you know. But in the process of sharing his story and how the N-word was used against him, that's where this part came from, where she said he wasn't checked, and that is wrong. We did check him. I did tell him, and I dropped him off from my live stream, and I told him he needs to just not use the N-word again. Yvette Xochitl, I don't know if you know her, Yvette Xochitl. She's part of the same fire circle that he's part of, a medicine fire circle or something, and she reminded him that he had a commitment with that circle, that sacred fire circle, not to be in social media. And she reminded him, he acknowledged it, he talked to us on the live stream, and then he is no longer on social media. But we did check that and we made sure of it.
Okay, so the claim of you using the N-word and you
So the claim
allowing
of
other people to use is just completely
so that
false?
part I've never like I said, the N-word was checked with Heron. We brought it up, like I said.
Okay.
It was checked. The only time, I think I mentioned this before. I had made a content video about this. I was on an Instagram live with Rhea and another. He's black. He's black, Puerto Rican, and Lakota, and he's a gangster. He's a gangster, and he was there, and he uses the N-word like a sailor. He'll just say it, and he doesn't care because since he's black and he's in the hood and he's gang related, he feels that he's got all the validation to use the N-word, not the one that ends with the ER, but the one with the A at the end. And so, in that process, while they were going at it, I was born in Cabrini Green, a black community. I moved away from Chicago back in 1995, 96.
You're from Cabrini Green, dog?
Yeah, I was born in Cabrini Green in Chicago. Yep. Halsted,
Okay.
16th Street, Racine, Outport, 18th Street, Cermak, all that stuff out there. Pilsen, Little Village, but I was born in Cabrini. So if I got $1 for every time I was called the N-word in the hood, we were friends. You know, in the street is different. When you got black brothers calling you that, and you just, you know, it's in the hood. Rappers use it, music artists use it, you know, in movies, all over the place. Do I think we should use it here? No, and I don't use it, and I stopped using it a long time ago, but all this argument kind of triggered, and it slipped out of my mouth one time since I've ever been here, and I haven't used it since. And I did make an apology because it did slip out, and it was kind of like it slipped out of my mouth. It triggered me because of the argument they had going on, and I did apologize about that, and I definitely say don't use it. Now, the same person that's been attacking me saying that that I used it, I showed a video where she has used it. The same person, Alex Faith or Desiree or Lex with the fist, she's used it. Vanilla Salt, or I think that's her name, Vanilla Salt. I don't know if you ever crossed paths with her.
Nope.
Vanilla Salt. What's her name? Lindsay. Her boyfriend is White Tea. She's Zapotec, or she claims to be Zapotec. But her boyfriend is a White Tea guy. They're really best friends with Alex, and he raps music and he uses the N-word. We have receipts on that. I could play for you if you want to hear it. I don't know if you want to see it or not.
I'm not really interested in that.
Okay,
I'm really
so
not. You know
so
what I
her
mean?
best friend used
I'm just trying to
it.
get more context.
Yeah, so her best friend used it. She's really good friends with Frey the Great, and we have receipts on him. It's one video where he's saying it too, and they're best friends with her. I don't know if you're cool with him. I'm not here to invalidate or attack anybody. I'm just saying, like, they're cool with her, and she doesn't check them. They're unchecked by her. That was Alex Fade. Alex Fade used it, Frey the Great, and Vanilla Salt. All of them are cool with each other. And I'm just saying, you know, if you're gonna point fingers at someone, make sure you don't have receipts with you using that as well. So I'm just saying, I don't think people should use that word. And, you know, it slipped out of my mouth one time, and I apologize for it, and I haven't used it since, and I don't plan to, and I really ask people not to use it here.
Okay. And can I ask you a favor while you're in my space? Can you
Sure,
not
go ahead.
use anybody's government name while you're in my space? Because you know what goes on TikTok when people get little bits of information about people, right?
Yeah, I get it, but they're using my name on all her content. But I'll respect your space.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, they're using my name, like literally my government name.
I understand.
all
I
her
understand.
comments.
But like, it comes to a point, like, especially on this app, where you got to be the bigger person and stop feeding into people's toxicity. You feel me? So
I'm respecting your space, so I won't use it here. And that's about it. But yeah, so
Okay.
so that's all it is about the N-word, bro. Nothing more to that. Want me to play the rest
All
and
right.
see where we're at with the rest? Okay.
And calling a Native woman the N-word just because you don't agree with her.
So that was part of that
On this individual
conversation.
account. Red,
So that N-word was part of that conversation. I never called any girl that. They were in an argument, and I was just telling them to stop and everything, and it was just said random. It was not said to anybody. And like I said, this was months ago. I apologize, and I don't want to use it. I haven't used it, and I plan not to, and I hope people don't use that word here on this platform.
Sorry, bro. I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No, go
I
ahead.
need to address something right now that I see something going on in the comments.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Is there indigenous women in my comments right now that are allowing CEO Knowledge to think that he's indigenous? Is that because we know? Does everybody in the comments know that CEO Knowledge is an ethnocentric? Do we know this?
Just remove them, bro. Block them. They're gonna report your live stream. I
No,
just
but he's like in conversation with them, and he's talking about our women, and he's referring to indigenous women, and ain't nobody who ain't checking him about that. So I don't I don't understand what's up with that. But anyway, go ahead, brother. I just
yeah.
wanted
So
to
so we'll
bring
go
that
up
to our
to
attention.
we'll go up to the next part of the clip right here.
Attacked an elder on this platform, made lies about him.
Let me rewind that a little bit.
RedRoadWarrior. You've even attacked an elder on this platform, made lies about him.
So this elder that she's talking about, I'm pretty sure she's talking about Uncle Boys. He's the only elder that I've ever called uncle on this platform, being outside of my tribe, outside of my own tribe. So the reason
Okay.
that I never insulted him, I just told him that I was gonna create distance between us, and I have nothing more to talk to him about. And I'll explain why. I joined his live stream 3 times, 3 different occasions. I didn't join the panel. I just went in on his comments and said, "Much love to you, Uncle. Hope you're doing good." Sent some positive vibes to everybody, and he kicked me out of the live stream because in the end, Birdie was there. At the time, I wasn't cool with Anna Apache, but right now I'm cool with Anna Apache. But at the time, I think they were there, and he kicked me out of the live stream. Just I wasn't even on the panel. I was just commenting. He messaged me later and said, "I apologize. I don't know what I was pushing there, and I accidentally kicked you." A second time, like 2 weeks later, I jumped in again on his live stream, just on his panel, just to wish him well, send him a little feather, whatever, through comments. And not too long again, I got kicked like within like a minute. So the next time around, I said, "What's going on? Like, I don't get it." I reached out to him. He said, again, same thing. I don't know what happened. I apologize. I'm like, I just don't know. Okay, that's cool. So I went in a third time. A little bit of time went again. I went in, and he kicked me again a third time. And this time, I asked again why, through DMs, and he said, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." At that point, another elder reached out to me, who is disabled, a disabled elder. He's been my friend since the beginning of me being on this platform, and he said that Uncle Boys was talking negative with other people on his live stream. And from that point, I just felt that I was not welcome in his live stream, on his live stream, and I distanced myself from him. And I have nothing more to really say about that because I just feel that he needs to just do his own thing, and there's no need for us to stay in communication anymore. So I created distance between us
Okay.
because he was talking
So
negative about me. And the elder that shared this with me, he's disabled. He's in his like late, I don't know, 60s, I think. There was no reason for him. He's an honorable person, and he has no reason to come out here and fabricate lies. But the way that Uncle Boys kept kicking me for no reason and then saying he didn't know what he's doing, really just made me feel really like he wasn't being honest with me. You know what I mean? And to each their own,
right.
just maybe if he didn't want me around, he could have just told me like, "Hey, listen, Manny, just go do your thing. I'm gonna do our thing, just till things de-escalate." And but he didn't. So it made me feel bad, bro. It made me feel bad. That's the only truth. There's nothing more to it. That's it. There's nothing more. If people want to go ahead, like Alex is here right now, I see her. That's on her. She could believe whatever she
Right.
wants. I'm telling you, I'm sharing you the absolute truth. I have nothing more. If you want to ask somebody else, you can reach out to Francisco. I don't know if you know Francisco. He was on the West Coast. He moved with his wife Cookie. He constantly does ceremony. So he's a very honorable native brother too. He's friends with Uncle Boys. He really loves him. He was trying to work with him, but again, I just felt like the way I was done, it could have been done a different way, and I just kind of didn't want to lose respect for him to the point where we would be, I would insult him. So I just said I'm just gonna keep my distance, and that's it. There's nothing more.
Okay. So I consider myself. Hold on. Here, give me 1 second, brother. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm right.
And just please, if you have something to say, just just know that all that hate and all the misinformation, you guys can just say what you want. But I don't have nothing to hide. My work is not just here on TikTok. If you guys look at my content, I do active work outside of TikTok. These topics that involve indigenous erasure, I go on the street and I put the work in. So I think it's just a lot of hate, to be honest with you, to the people on the panel, to the people here on the live stream. There's a lot of hate. A lot of hate from people who are just, I think, jealous. I think they just have an issue that I'm not indoctrinated. I'm not part of any religion. I think they're upset that, I walk my own path. They're upset that I understand who my tribe is and my people. So, if you guys want to keep saying stuff and attacking me here on these comments, a few people that are here, go ahead. It's okay. It doesn't break my heart.
Okay.
How do you mute
So
your,
what I was gonna
hey bro, how do you mute your live stream? I don't know how to do that. Like, is there an option
Oh,
for
you
muting your
gotta,
mic?
yeah, you can do that. You can hit the more button in the bottom right corner, and you gotta scroll about all the way down, and there's an option to mute your microphone. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks, bro. I was always trying to do it. I'm like, how do you do that? All right. Thanks, bro. So that's regarding the elder part. If you want, I could move along, or if you got a question regarding that, I'll answer your question, bro.
So I kind of just I want to make it clear real quick. I consider myself to be an intelligent person, and I would actually be an ignorant person if I sat here and only listened to one side of the story when there's multiple people in the comments claiming that they have proof of that you're lying right now. So would you feel disrespected if I brought at least one of them up to show me some sort of proof that you're lying?
Sure, they could bring it up. They could come up.
Okay, if anybody in the comments right now has any sort of audio or anything you want to show on the big screen, send me an invite right now and we can make this happen.
I just don't want them to be disrespecting me, because I'm not going to disrespect them. I just want, let's get right to the fact, and then they can move along so I can finish sharing with you what this video is about.
Fair
Which
enough.
I'm pretty much done with it at this point. It's got just a few more little things here.
Okay. Go to Lex Claps back on Instagram. Yeah, no, see, I'm offering a live public space for anybody to bring evidence, just like I do with the ethnocentrics that claim to be indigenous. I offer everybody a fair chance right here. If you have proof right here, right now, bring it up to the panel and show everybody. Okay, we got a guest request. Not sure who this person is, but let's see. Invite timeout or something? Okay, maybe not.
So I also have receipts on multiple accounts that were fabricated, brother. Like, they made multiple, like at least 8 different accounts. They try to say that those accounts were mine. They literally fabricated them themselves, replied to themselves, and then they went and made content saying, "Look what you say to us." And I'm like, how is that even me? Like, you guys are making accounts up and attacking. You're saying that I'm saying stuff like that. Come on, man. Like, we're grown adults. Like, I don't need to. I'm right here on the live stream. If I was hiding, if I felt guilty about something, I wouldn't be here. And like I said, I could open those receipts up. And like I said, I am gonna go ahead and finish the content that I just did. I just haven't saved it, and I need to add that one part where Alex Faith is saying the word with her ethnocentric friends, because she's an ethnocentric sympathizer, 100%. I was on a live stream and she was all cool with King Trajan, ethnocentric sympathizer, and he was telling them all kinds of, they were all cool with each other. He even told me if I wanted to sit on he said it like this, and I quote, he said, "Can you sit with Wobbles on a live stream so you can exchange information between your Aztec or Mayan, your Aztec tribe with Wobbles?" And I said, I cannot do that. There's nothing I need to talk to any of the Wobble community about my tribe or exchange any information, because I know their shit's not true. So she can deny it now if she wants, but that's why I know King Trajan, and they're still friends with each other. So I'm right here if they want to prove more. If they want.
Well, I mean, I don't see anybody request. I mean, someone is trying to request, but and every time I accept, they don't end up in the box. But I do see a couple of people in the comments actively right now that I know have slandered my name, that I've seen them talking shit about me in other people's comments, and now they're in my comments trying to be cool with me in order to slander your name. So you know what I'm saying? I kind of see what side I'm leaning towards right now. No one's coming up with no proof. if y'all want to send me links, do what you got to do. But you know, I don't spend my life on the internet with all this drama shit. I just genuinely want to know what's going on.
So as soon as I'm done with this, as soon as I'm done with this live stream, bro, with you here, because like I said, I came here out of respect for you because you tried to join my live stream and I was just busy breaking this down. But I feel that it was important for me to show my respect, come out here, clear things with you, and then I am gonna finish doing my video regarding Alex Faith and her attacks without too much detail, without really attacking her, just showing proof, and then I'm gonna completely remove anything that has to do. I've already this person I haven't engaged with at all, and she continues to find reasons to come and attack me as she's been doing for the last over a year already. You know, so it's just sad that people continue to. If you look at my content, I don't even talk about them. I have nothing about any of them. I talk about indigenous erasure and my experience as a native indigenous man. I haven't even talked about my essay experience, what I've gone through, the 3 times that I've been essayed. You know, but because I'm a man, they try to make it seem like I should be strong and just accept it, you know? And that's not right, man. Like, we have a heart too. We have feelings too.
Oh, I feel you, brother. Josie, I know you. I respect you. So if you want to come up here and give your side of it, you're more than welcome.
She can come up here 100%. Because Chris, this person Chris, she was given the space on my live stream. I even sent her gifts, like I was sending everybody gifts on my live stream for being there. I had nothing against her. Then she joined the live, and we had a great conversation. And then she started bringing up this essay victim, and I didn't understand what she brought her up to begin with.
Hey,
in my
brother,
house.
how are you?
Go ahead.
Hey, Cuba.
I'm good. How you doing?
So, first, most of all, I'm not here to attack anyone. That's my first thing. I want that to be clear. But I really want to make sure that I'm also clear just to why I feel the way I feel towards. I don't even know you. I don't even know your name. Red Road or y'all,
Just Manny.
whatever your name is.
Manny's
I don't know
fine.
your name, but
Manny's fine.
is out of respect, Manny. Well,
Yep.
just to let you all know, you know, I got clips where you are disrespecting the sister, and there's people on there, there's men in there, they're belittling and dismissing my sister on a live TikTok where she, like you stated on your own live TikTok that you've experienced essay. No one should dismiss anyone's essay. And regardless of whatever situation she was expressing, no one has that authority to ever dismiss a sister or anyone essay story, because we will not be victim shaming anyone. That's the reason why I'm upset. I don't know, but last night I had other sisters come up here and said the same thing about their experience towards you or you towards them.
It's the same people within the same clique of people, so I respect that they have something to say.
I don't know them,
but
just like
I cannot validate their experience. I cannot validate that because they're not here.
Again,
if they were here, then I listen and we'll correct it. But go ahead.
Well, just like I'm just expressing myself because I was given this moment to think this, but no one should ever disrespect anyone in any live TikTok or anyone. And as a matter of fact, I found that, you know, with the clips that it was stating that you were being, you know, just disregarding her and stating that, making it sound like it was her fault. That really, really made me upset and infuriated.
Cuba, can you ask her to show us the clips?
I can't show no clips, Cuba.
Yeah,
but
you
he
can.
knows what I'm talking about.
Can you, is there any way you can tell me what page the clips are on, and I can play the clip?
So, like I said, Chris
if you go to his live, if there was a live, his live TikTok where she's talking, when she's expressing, and they're calling her a drunk.
No one was calling her. I don't know who could have said that. I'm not going to be held accountable for adults. You can reach out to them and question them. Don't put this on me.
On
what an adult says.
So Lexi said it's on Instagram. But
yeah, so
one of the things,
so adults have control over the. If they disrespect someone, please reach out to them. Don't reach out to me because of what some dude said or somebody said.
See, there you go again.
I'm just telling you, please don't put it on me. I'm just telling you, please don't put it on me.
But you're dismissing what it was stated on your live TikTok.
No, we don't. I did tell people that there was an argument.
One second.
Yeah, go
One second. let's try our best to keep it respectful and go one at a time. I'm
She's been
working on
talking
going
this
to the
whole time.
Instagram page and looking up these clips right now.
Yeah, she's just been
Dude, you've been
talking
having like
forever.
4 hours of TikTok.
Hmm?
Not as long as they want that sword.
Are you? Can
I
you
just
get
want
to
to
the
make
point
sure.
so I can share my point, please? Can you share your point already?
My point is, Cuba, is that
Mm-hmm.
he is very disrespectful to us women.
Please
And one
focus on
thing
the
is
topic. You're not focusing on
that
the
one of
topic at
thing
hand.
is that
Let her talk. Let her talk, please.
nobody is to dismiss our women when they're sharing any story about their experience being essayed or any story that has to do with human trafficking or anything. No man should ever disrespect a woman on a live TikTok and think that it's okay and blame shame them and victim shame them. That's what I'm about, Cuba, and you know me.
Okay.
I'm not
I'm
here to
with
I
you
shame
know
too.
you.
anyone or try to talk down to anyone, but that's my thing because many of our women have been murdered and go missing on a daily basis.
We're
And
all with you on that.
what he's stated yesterday
Please
on his
don't say
TikTok
that
when
I'm
he was
doing
going
this.
live,
Please don't.
he was pointing out at the people's comments and saying that he was being victimized by these people, where I found that if he really wanted to address issues, to address things, he could have came to those individuals personally and say, hey, I would like to talk to you personally, person to person, but he didn't.
All right, thank you, Josie. Can I share my opinion, or she's gonna? Because now I'm being attacked by things that I have no response. No, I'm not responsible for people being missing. Like I'm not. You know what I mean? Like she's saying the people are missing, people are getting this. I'm not. I don't have control over that. How do I have control what happens to people across the world and across reservations? I have no control over that. She's trying to make all these things that are happening to indigenous women my fault. How is that my fault?
When
I
you
stand.
have a live, it
Come
is
on.
your fault. If I have a live on and somebody's disrespecting somebody, I'm gonna cut them off right off the bat because nobody is to put nobody down in any
Okay.
life.
Can I
No
share
one is
my
to
point of view on
disrespect
this
them or
now?
dismiss them or any type of way. That's the way it goes. If you allow that toxicity, then you're allowing that negativity, and that is not what the way we're supposed to be talked down to. As women, we are to be respected just like we respect each other or men. That's the way I see it.
I see it that way too, 100%. So on my own
Okay,
live
so
stream,
for
people.
the chat,
Yeah, go ahead.
for the chat, and sorry, I'll let you go after
Yeah,
I
go
ask
ahead.
this
Go ahead.
question, and then we're gonna watch these videos. For the chat, which one of these videos am I playing here? It's gonna
You
act
need to
up
remove your
on
filter,
the
bro.
Instagram. On the Insta, yeah, okay, give me 1 second here.
Perhaps it's more on the lines of I have the power. This isn't a toy.
And listen, Bear, there's some going to set telenovelas. Please don't put me on that. I'm just here to clarify things. They're the ones that are making a telenovela about this. So I'm just here to clarify things.
Which video am I playing?
That blue video is
Hold
from
on,
like
Cuba.
over a year ago. What's up with these people? Just like that. Some of those videos have nothing to do with this live stream.
I never knew about you. I don't know who you are. And
Good. Just
all I
block
know
me.
is
Just
that
block me,
the
Josie. It's okay.
negative thing that it was just sent to me. Let
It's
me
easy.
see,
Just block me and you're
Cuba. I
good.
cannot really see.
The second
The,
video it has a title over it that says Juan, aka Red Road Warrior, and his
See, they're
anti-blackness.
using my official name, bro. That's a government name right there. That's doxing right there, bro. If this is
Okay, my
Juan
fault. I thought
Juan,
they used your name
there you
incorrectly.
go,
I
bro.
thought they
See
used
what
your
I'm
name
saying?
incorrectly.
Nah, bro, that's
I
called
got you. I
doxing.
got
Look at
you.
who's doing the doxing, bro.
I got you. Okay, so and then the other one says, "Let's see how Red Road Warrior sympathizes with a man accused of SAing multiple women."
yeah,
Multiple
that
women.
one.
Okay, so we'll
That
bring
one?
it up.
Okay.
So before you play it, let me make a quick explanation. CPS. He has a story outside of TikTok that I don't know. He's been on my platform months and months. Nothing was ever brought up. Then I guess his sister or somebody like a distant sister, he had problems with his own family. They had internal problems within their family, and he kept trying to tell me that he had paperwork regarding courtrooms and how this was a fabrication. So all I did, like you're doing to me right now, giving me an opportunity to share what this information is about, because he did bring out court papers. He brought out court papers. He brought out information regarding what was going on. And I still told him, you know what? You guys just have so much drama with this issue that you're just not gonna. I can't let you into my platform anymore. And he has not been on my platform for like at least a couple months now. because of this issue. So I told him, just deal with it, fix your issues, and you got to just deal. I can't save you. I'm not Jesus. I'm not God. I'm not anybody that's gonna be able to rescue you from what you're doing. I gave you the time to find the paperwork to correct it, and you just, he talked about green lighting, and he was green lighted, and all this drama that has nothing to do with me. All I try to do was
Right.
figure out exactly how you're doing right now, and he hasn't been on my platform anymore. So I just want to make sure that everybody here knows he has not been on my platform, and that's it.
Okay, I
Just
got
like
you.
just
Now,
like
we're
Heron,
gonna
he's
play
not on
this
my
video.
platform either. Go ahead.
With Ocelopa Ramirez in Michigan.
Oh shit! Hold on, my bad. I clicked off.
Can you hear? Pobrecito señor Biden, he's massaging the women through medicine. He does his medicine this way, masaje. And so right now he's kind of under fire a little bit because they said that he massaged like genitalia of a woman, like private part, two women in that event of near Chicken New Year that just passed. And so with my elder, he doesn't really like him, and they're both like older. And my elder, he's got beef con un chingo de him. Like he says stuff, and I don't like that about him, but I still love him no matter what. Pero pues even my brother got pissed off. My brother, you guys never met my brother here, but he looks almost like Yahweh, pero he cut his hair now. He's more like all about business and shit. Pero he got upset at my older a little bit, but he didn't say shit. He didn't go and direct it to him. Pero he got a little upset because he's like, why is someone going based on a post que un pendejo hizo on Facebook said this, that he's being, that Ocelopa Ramirez is now.
Okay, so I'll explain it real quick. Cuba, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
So yeah, this is a whole different situation, brother. So let me break this down for you real quick. Ocelopa Ramirez, if you type his name on YouTube, you will see that he has one of the biggest calpulis, one of the biggest, clans, for people who would understand better, with professionals, doctors, lawyers, professional people that really love him. He's been a big pillar for the Mexica community. He does massaging to heal people. He's been doing this for like 20 years. Nobody has ever accused him of anything, ever. He has been an honorable individual. He went to Mexica New Year, I think, last year, and he was doing massage, like the same medicine that he does on everybody. And, men, women, children, anything, elders. He is, you look him up, Ocelopa Ramirez on YouTube, and you will see all he's ever been is an honorable man. But when he went out to California, there's also a lot of people who have a lot of hate towards him. There's also a lot of people who have a lot of hate to what he speaks on. There's a lot of people that are agents that don't like anybody who stands against religion, who is, living the traditional ways, who's not assimilated. He is a big time influencer. So for him to come out to the West Coast and someone say, oh, he massaged someone the wrong way, it didn't just question, like, it was like, why would he do that here after all this time? He's done like thousands of massages in his life, and he's never been accused of this. So I don't know that. They're under investigation, and they're going to correct this because he's never, ever been accused of anything like that, ever. I met
Yes,
him
he
in
was
person.
accused here in Los Angeles.
That's what I'm saying.
was-
Yes,
Alright,
in Los
so-
Angeles, in California, in Mexica.
So
Yeah,
the-
he was
look,
he was
Yeah, that's the
accused
only time.
in East LA.
look,
Oh,
So
so
look.
I
they're
met
investigating it, brother.
Check it
That's
out.
all.
Check it out.
I-
Check it out.
Go ahead,
I
go
met
ahead.
with
Check it out. Check it
So
out.
I'm not saying it couldn't happen.
Listen.
I'm just saying
Okay,
it's being under
so let's-
investigated. That's all.
So we cannot dismiss these young girls that were part of his ring, that were part of Danza Azteca. They were dancing with them. So when they got assaulted by him, and so basically the
That has
whole
yet to be proven through
investigation
the
here
courtroom.
in LA that was conducted,
Okay.
and it was found to be true.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
Go
this
ahead.
is what I'm going.
Yo,
This is why I'm
so
saying no dismissing of our people's
I got you, Joseph.
essays.
Sorry. I'm getting irritated. I got to get it out, or I'm gonna fucking
Go ahead.
blow my top.
Go ahead.
Listen, what I've heard from you thus far since you've been in my life, every time that we've talked on a situation of SA or a girl going through that, you have excuses, you have deflections.
There is
You
no
get what I'm
excuse.
saying? But why are you making
what
excuses
I'm trying
for
to tell
that?
you
then?
is he's been doing this ancient tradition. It's an ancient of the massage. It's not just a massage. It's an ancient medicine that he's been doing thousands of times, and he's never been.
So
he's
he's a
never had a
medicine
problem.
man, basically.
He's a
A
medicine man.
Salvador, a
So
person that
so
goes
if he
and-
did something wrong, I'm not defending him. If he did something wrong,
Yes, you are, bro.
If he did something wrong, he should be uh, facing justice, he should be. This should be taken to the courtroom where they can further investigate how, why, when, all this stuff. I can't do this here. All I know is that he's been an honorable leader within his community all his life. That's
No,
all I
he's
can tell
not. That's
you.
the reason why he got
That
kicked out of
Josie,
doesn't
LA
that
that
to
is.
go to
doesn't
I
mean
Arizona.
told you to look it up on
that.
YouTube, and you can find out who he is and how many honorable people found. Did he fuck up? I don't know. I wasn't there. Should he face justice if that's the case? Absolutely, absolutely. What do you want me
All
to
I want
do?
to just
I'm
come in
not
here and
there.
say, Cuba, because I have
I would
to.
like for you. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
All I want to say is that this is the reason why I get upset, because we as women and young girls that have been victimized by medicine men, by elders, by individuals, by even family members, that we are not believed. We're always the victims and we are not believed. We are always the ones that be blamed for. And this is why it's a big problem in not only our indigenous community, but throughout everywhere. This is why I keep calling people out and saying, why are we protecting the predators? Why are we protecting and deflecting their
We're not
issues? Like
deflecting, and
you
I'm not
said,
protected. He
like,
should face the justice that he
because
needs to face. That's all I said.
exactly. So
So
again,
I'm not defending
that's the
and I'm
reason
not
why he got kicked
deflecting.
out
I'm
of
telling
LA.
you that needs to be further investigated because I was not there
Again,
and he
I'm
doesn't
gonna
have a
repeat
reputation
myself once
of any,
again.
he does not have
That's
a
the reason
record.
why he was kicked off from LA, because he literally essayed these young girls, and these young girls did not make it up. And
Okay.
and and that's all.
Okay, I get it. I
Another
don't know
thing
about
is
young
that
girls, so please, I have to look more into it. I don't know that there was other people involved. She's saying young girls, like young girls, like there was multiple in that same night. I know that it was a public event. In Chica New Year, there's lots of people there, so it wasn't like it was a private, like like in there. I don't know. It was in a public area. I'm sure he had like a booth, something where he was doing this. I never seen him do it, so again, I don't know. My elder brought it up to my attention. My elder brought it up. My elder does not like Jose Loco Ramirez, my direct elder. And when I looked at the post and I told my brother about it, because my brother also followed he's his elder. So I told my brother about it, and he looked up at this post where they're accusing him of this. And it turns out that the people on the post on Facebook that brought this up, because I was tagged on that post through my elder, because he knows them. And I looked them up, and they're literally like a new age style group. They're a group that are claiming to be like Aslan people and like they're not part of the Mexica community. They're not part of so they are more like Mexica movement, a different kind of movement, kind of like brown berets or
so
something more
Cuba.
modern. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's not a valid thing. I'm saying the people that posted this are people that never liked him to begin with. That's all I'm saying. Should there be justice if some crime was committed? Absolutely. And that's why it's being dealt with in the courtroom. I do not support him. I have not sat here and said he didn't do it. I'm saying if he did do something, he should definitely face the consequences of that. That's not deflecting and that's not defending him. That's just saying we have no control. We have no evidence here. They need to further investigate it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Josie, do you have what were you gonna say to me before I go off on what I want to say? Can y'all hear me?
I can.
Okay, so here's my problem, right? So
He,
any man that I know,
he,
were you gonna say
yeah, he's,
something?
She's having reception
but
problems, it looks like.
one of the things is that why couldn't he apologize to the sister? Why couldn't he step in and protect her? So he hasn't. He
Which
continues to go
sister?
after
Which part are you
sisters.
talking about?
Why
You
is
need
he
to be
doing that?
specific,
Why
please.
does he continue to go after sisters?
Which one? You need
And
to
he
be specific.
continues
Like, what are
to.
you talking about?
You
You're talking about
Okay,
yesterday you
Chris?
so
spoke
look,
about Little Snowbird. You spoke about Lexi. You spoke about
Well,
Chris. You
let's break
spoke
it down. We
about
gotta go in parts. We gotta go in
this other
parts.
right,
young
right,
woman. I
right,
forgot
Destroying
her
all
name.
kinds of
right.
stuff.
I was there for that live. He spoke on a lot of women, right? So now I'm gonna break this down. This is my problem, right? Any man that I know of or that I relate to or that I could be comfortable being around me. When a woman tells them that they've been SA'd, they take it at face value. There is no, oh, but it hasn't been proven in court. There is no, oh, but they were in a relationship. There is no, oh, but they were drunk. Okay, that is defending multiple different aspects to the SA part of it, and you make, whether or not you, I'm not trying to accuse you of nothing, Red Road, but you're making yourself look horrible when you do that shit. You realize that, right? You should be defending your sister. You should
And I
you should be
am, and I am.
denouncing.
Because this A
I
victim you're
haven't.
talking about, she had a whole live stream for herself. And she didn't want people to be talking about it anymore on social platform because she hasn't. And Chris went on there and started bringing it up again. And that was on her, not me. You know, they're dealing with this in the courtroom, and it's being brought up here. But this SA victim they're talking about, she had a whole live stream with 500 people on that panel, on that live stream. And she shared everything that she needed to share with us. And we agreed, and she wanted not anybody talk about it anymore, to please respect that. And I've been respectful, and she hasn't brought it up. And I don't know why Chris went and brought it up. And right away, Alex Faith jumped on that. Like right away, she went and did a duet with her, and they've been trying to drag me for Chris bringing it up to begin with. I didn't bring it up.
All right, so I don't see you being respectful, because I came at you in a very respectful manner and asked you very simple questions, and you did, like I said, you did a lot of deflecting and defending. If you were respecting your sister, you would have respectfully told me that you do not wish to speak on that situation because it is
On
an
which one?
active case. On any of them. You've
No,
spoken
correct.
on
Well,
you've
I
spoken on
haven't.
multiple different issues, and you've made excuses for multiple different people.
Yeah, so with this thing, I never brought any essay on my space. I talk about indigenous erasure. I talk about my experience as a Native person, and that's all I do. You know, if Chris brought it up, she was given the space to say whatever she needed to until she left on her own. Nobody kicked her out of the live stream. She was fighting with Jones.
Nobody's trying to.
This guy, I don't even know who Jones is. I literally, I just, like, he's right here right now. You're dark, it's a different. You're a dark, it's a different. So Jones is here, as you can see his comment there. He was the one that was talking. You know, they were the ones that were going at it together. I'm not going to be held accountable for Jones' actions. She was given all the space to say everything she needed to say. But the victim that she was talking about, she was on my live stream a few months ago, and she said she didn't want anybody to bring this up anymore, and she was not going to bring it up on social platforms. So if people want to bring it up and stuff, please just don't bring it up on my live on my space. I'm being respectful with the situation they're going through, and that's it. I don't need to talk
I
about
don't
this
need to
anymore,
talk to Jones.
and
I don't
that's it.
care to talk to anyone.
Well,
My
he's the one that
sister's
was
story
arguing with
needs
her,
to be
not me.
respected, and that's what needs to
Okay,
Let's
happen.
everybody.
go. Let's go. We're going
It
live.
needs to be respected. It
Everybody
needs
do
to
me
be
a
left
favor.
alone.
Everybody do me a favor.
Calm
Everybody
down.
do me a favor. Mute your mic, please.
All right, no, I'm gonna speak because somebody spoke upon me.
No, you're not gonna. No, that's not
No,
what we're
I'm
doing
gonna
here.
speak. I'm gonna
No, you're
speak.
not. You're gonna
Let's.
sit down. You're gonna sit your ass down, because I literally just asked you a very simple question and you just disrespected me. So now, remember when I asked you, Red Road Warrior, or remember when I said
Thank
to
you,
you
Cuba.
earlier that
Thank
they're
you,
coming?
Cuba. I'm gonna withdraw from the live stream. You didn't give him a chance, and he's the one that was fighting with her, not me. If anything, he should be questioned, and you didn't give him a chance to. You didn't question him.
Because I
You
asked,
should you
I
shouldn't
asked
question him,
him,
brother. No,
I
I'm
asked him
sorry.
to mute
I
his
can't be
mic.
part
It
of
was
this
very
anymore.
simple.
I can't be
Straight
part of
facts. I
That's
this
got
fine.
anymore.
shit to
That's
say
fine,
to you.
because
What are you
the
running
pressure's about
from?
to get on. Yeah, because the pressure's about to be on
Fucking
you.
running
See,
from
that's
Manny. I had shit to say to
exactly,
you. Come back up here. Come
exactly.
back fucking up here. I got shit to say to you.
Yeah, I don't
See,
play
bro,
that shit. I do not play
this
that
is
shit.
what's happening. This is exactly what goes on, and this is why it's an issue with this man. And we don't know him. I don't know him, but his actions, it speaks for itself. And I'm done. You know, he came in here and tried to ridicule again my sister Chris's name, and that is not going to happen. No, that ain't going to happen.
Okay,
And
and
straight facts.
just so everybody
I
is
wanted to ask him
aware,
fucking questions.
I know. Just so everybody's aware, for everybody that has been in here for the totality of the conversation of me and Red Road Warrior, I know it may have seemed like I was playing both sides of the fence, and I was like trying to be on his side in the beginning, but that is what I do on these platforms. I dissect people's behavior and I dissect people's psychology. So please don't take the beginning of that conversation for me aligning myself with someone who could possibly be a pedophile sympathizer, or not a pedophile, a predator sympathizer, or possibly a predator themselves. That's not what was going on. It was simply for him to out his own psychology and his own ideology. That is what I do.
So, I mean, I totally hear what you're saying, brother, and this is why because what's been bothering me, it was his disrespect to the sisters. And that's all, because like I said, and I'll speak again on this, too many of our sisters have been victimized, victim shamed, and it's not okay. I, for one, I'm against that, and no one that has experienced SAID or any type of horrific in their life should ever be ridiculed or be demeaned on a live TikTok ever. And the way they did her was the wrong thing to do. And that's why I'm speaking up as a sister and as an activist and as an advocate for MMIW. And I shall stand my ground.
Well, that's it. And he's caused personal problems between me and Chris by flat out gaslighting her using my fucking name. And I wanted to ask him where he got the fucking right. Because I stand with him and 10 toes down. I do not stand with that fucking coward. He is a slime ball and he is sleazy and fucking miss me with that shit, you guys.
Well, sisters, I came to try to make sure that things were cleared up. Cuba, and I want to thank you, brother, for allowing me to come up here while he was up here, because he wouldn't let me go up on his TikTok. But, that was the whole thing. He continuously defends predators and pedophiles. And it seems to me that that's a problem, because no one should ever dismiss anyone's essay story, ever. Because
Never.
as a survivor, it hurts to see how he easily, right away, puts us that, like, we're not to be believed. And that's been the problem from day one, from our police, FBI's, and even our own relatives. When we have to, share our essay stories, we are not believed. And this is a problem that we see. So with that being said, brother, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come up here and to step in. I appreciate it. And to all my sisters out there, don't ever feel ashamed. Don't ever feel alone, because you guys are not alone. Just know that. We got each other.
Absolutely.
I would just like to
Cuba,
speak
I'm
on
choosing
my
violence right
personal
now because he's on
experiences
his
with him.
live and I got questions, so I'm going to pop.
I would just
Go
like to
ahead.
speak on my personal experience with Red Armani.
Okay.
He used me, like he really used me. He came into, I want to say around November, he came into my inbox, started messaging me, was really interested and seemed really personally interested in my content and what I had to say. I almost feel like it was like he was grooming me, to gain favoritism, because he's really, really afraid. He's terrified of Alex. He really is. He's terrified of her, and especially because they've gone back and forth for like what, 2 years now, a year. So what he does is he grooms these girls. He feels like he grooms the females that circle him and join his lives. He gives them a lot of attention, a lot of space to speaks their mind, validates everything they have to say. He was talking to me on video chat every day. Every day we were video chatting. And he was saying things very flirtatious, very flirtatious. He was saying, one time he said, "Oh man, if I met you, he basically said that, he would be with me." Like, he just was like very charming and witty, and that's how it's been. Like, I've talked to other females and they've all said the same thing, that like he starts with like, "Oh, you're pretty, you're beautiful," like very engaging and very interested in what they have to say. And then I've noticed back in January, February, a lot of his lives, he would invite the females on there. And then it was like almost like he would utilize the information, the indigenous information that these women had, to like claim it as his own, to like regurgitate it, to
Right.
regurgitate it as his own, because he even he's like, "Oh, I don't read." And then I caught on, I was like, okay, he doesn't read. He's like using us for our information, for our tribal knowledge, for our indigenous knowledge. But he was very flirtatious with me. And the night before I cut ties with Manny, he told me, he's like, I wish you were closer to me so like we can be together and like, but it never like really, it was always like, it never went into like super depth, you know, like he never got like graphic because he has his mentality like he'll tell you we're not animals and we don't go around and sleep around and this and that. Like he hates women who sleep around. He hates women who are in charge of their sexuality. He hates women, and he's made that very clear. And he's like, one of the reasons why I'm attracted to you is because you wear modest clothes. Like you're not on here showing your body or showing yourself. You're not wearing like a lot of makeup. So that's what initially like he was telling me. And so the night I and again, keep in mind this, I was talking to this man every day and he was telling me these things every day for like 3 months. And then he spoke very ill of this other content creator because they had a moment on video chat, I guess, where she supposedly exposed herself to him, but he was a victim. He was, according to him, he was a victim. He didn't want this conversation. He didn't want to see that. And he victimized himself to this other female content creator. But then the night after our last conversation, or the day after our last conversation, he invites this girl to the live and like he's flirtatious with her. He's laughing and he's like just like giving her all the attention that he was giving me, and it was literally from one day to the next. And then I called him out. I was like, how can you do that? Like, how can you do that? Like, how can you say, like, basically slut shame this girl, like degrade this girl, and then turn around and act interested in her on a live? And my issue was like, I didn't really care about how I felt, like how he was disrespecting me. I don't like when men slut shame women. I do not like that behavior. That is problematic behavior for me. I think a woman, if she should own her body, she should do whatever she wants to do with her body. And no man has the right to judge her or shame her. So he literally messaged me back to back for 3 days. And I sent screenshots to somebody else so they can look at them. But for receipts, because he went off on me for 3 days. 3 days he went off on me saying that I was a traitor, that he was disappointed in me because I questioned him. It was all, at the end, it all came down to like, I wasn't loyal to him. I wasn't a good ally to him because I questioned what he did. I questioned the way he treated this girl. And he's just problematic. And I'm telling you, we were talking on video for like every day. Even my son knew who he was. Like my son, like when videos pop up on my For You page, he knows exactly who he is because my son, was a witness to all those conversations.
Right.
And
so, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. You can keep going.
So he uses psychology, like he's very manipulative. He knows how to gain the trust of women. And he knew exactly what buttons to push with me. Like he knew exactly what buttons to push. And like I said, he made all these flirtatious advances. Some of the stuff I'm actually kind of embarrassed to say because I don't want to say it. And I'm actually afraid that he's going to expose and like screenshot our conversations and share them among Facebook. Like I mean, our TikTok, like I'm literally afraid of him. Like, and that's why I stayed silent. I had stopped showing up on everybody's lives since mid-February. I just totally dropped off and just made content for myself because I'm afraid that he's going to expose me and put our personal conversations out there for everybody to see, to victimize himself.
Right. Yeah, and you shouldn't have to deal with that.
He seems to victimize himself to these women.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, I mean, I'm sorry that you had to go through all that. I'm sorry that you are currently experiencing that type of fear. There's no reason that you should be experiencing that at all whatsoever. I unfortunately did not get to point out. See, now TikTok, I am not a clinical psychologist. I am not making a diagnosis here, but I am very educated on psychology, and I'm very good at examining people's behavior. That's why I started this platform. Now, I see a lot of people in the comments say this is narcissistic behavior, but I personally believe, due to the symptoms that he's shown me during that 25-30 minute conversation, that dude is a sociopath. He had no emotion in his voice. Like you were saying, he very much is very highly manipulative. I mean, literally, I could ask him a question that doesn't require a 5 minute answer, and that's what he's gonna do anyway, because he's gonna try and confuse and hope that you're not all the way listening. And he's 100% sociopath. The question I was gonna ask him before that he left was, remember when I said that you need to stop feeding into the toxicity and let the other side just keep doing what they're doing, and he agreed with that. Well, that directly contradicts what he did last night when he was going through indigenous woman after indigenous woman after indigenous woman
Yeah, he
on his
targets
live,
women.
and breaking down their content, breaking down the way that
And
they
that's why I'm
think, the way
afraid
that
of.
they talk.
And that's why
Yeah,
I was
no,
afraid. So
it's
I didn't
absolutely
speak on it. And what made it
disgusting
worse,
behavior.
he told me he was going to keep our conversation to herself. He told me he was not going to take what I said to him and what he said to me outside of our private messages. Next, you know, 2 girls come to me saying that he told them that I was crazy, I was obsessed with him, that
Gaslighting.
I wanted a relationship with him and he rejected me. But the night before we cut ties, he was telling me, I wish you were closer to me so we can just like, you know, be together and like, you know, just be like not sexual, but he said like, I wish we can just lay down together and let me just hold you, you know. And that's what he was telling me for like a while, for like weeks. And I've noticed he always took our conversations to video chat, and I've always wondered if that's to keep from having receipts.
That's too, I personally, based on his behavior profile, that is so he can read into your body language. People who are sociopathic they have no emotion to them, so they have to be able to see your reaction in the way that you physically react in order to be able to mimic that same emotion.
Right.
So that would be my theory behind why he was doing that. It's all a part of his manipulation tactics.
And I trusted him. And the reason why I didn't speak out against him is because, like I said, I'm so terrified that he is going to release our conversations to victimize himself. And he's going to paint me out to be some crazy lady who was just so obsessed with him. But, you know, on Instagram, all the times that he video chatted me and called me on, it's there. Like he was very much for weeks talking to me like every day. And he said because he didn't feel judged. He didn't feel like, you know, I was
He was
judging
trying to
him.
love bomb you.
Yeah, that's exactly what it came down to. And the stuff that he was saying.
Oh wait, never mind. Go ahead, keep going. I was gonna say something, but
I'm terrified. And I told people I am terrified that he's going to release those personal conversations just to embarrass and humiliate me, because he doesn't have a conscience. It comes down to it. He doesn't have a conscience, because when I told him how I felt about what he did, it was like gaslit. I got gaslit right away. Right away, I was gaslit. I was told I was crazy. There was no reason for me to feel that way. There was no reason for me to be angry. And I'm like, you disrespected this girl. You said all these nasty things about this girl, and then you're over there acting like that, you know, you're over here like flirting with her, and like you're just like googly eyes at her, and then you're telling me the night before something else. Like, you're freaking psycho. Like, that's crazy. And he hates women who he just hates strong women. It comes down to it. He hates strong women. He does not like women who confront him. He does not like women who question him. He does not like women who any way, shape, or form own their lives, own their bodies, own their personalities. He doesn't like strong women at all. And that's the thing is, technically I am a traditional woman. I'm not. I've always been traditional. but and it seemed like he played on that because he played that role so well, like, oh, I'm traditional, like I don't do that, like I don't have one night stands with women because it's disrespectful and we're not animals and we should be respecting our bodies. And then in reality it's like, who else are you flirting with on this app? Like there has to be, you know, more to what you're doing, you know, especially when you did that to me. That was like fucked up, especially because I was like willing to defend him. I was willing to like defend him and his content, you know, and it was just like I said, I'm terrified of him. At the end of the day, I am terrified that he's going to release conversations.
So one of the things that predators tend to do is that they go, and I've noticed from his TikToks, bro, how he sympathizes his victimization. Like he lets people know how he's been victimized, but he understands the victims. He is double playing. He's definitely using mirror, which means that he is totally like there are women that are on his like TikTok and men. He'll look and read their comments and go based on whatever they're saying so that they can sympathize for him. That's exactly what predators tend to do. And this man has been doing this for a very long time. And it needs to be addressed at a higher level. Because if you guys see, he's not stopping. He has his followers, like many other people, other predators, like Chase Ironhorse. Like they have these type of people that will always believe what they're saying. That's exactly what predators do.
Well, what he does, like I said, he gains trust. He gains, like I said, he was very interested in what I had to say. He was very interested in my content. He was very interested in having me on his lives and be a voice and speak on issues. And in the reality, I started picking up like the last week that I started like really noticing that I was speaking to him. The last week I really noticed like he's just like taking our information and making it his own, like to use it for his own benefit. He's not really.
So what can we do? I want all the community in here. I want my people in here. What can we do as indigenous people in here that are on this live right now? Like, we know that this person is toxic. To me, there's no other proof, okay? I already seen enough. What can we all do to ensure that our sisters are well, not only mentally, psychologically, but also spiritually? And, you know, how can we do this? Because what he's doing is not going to stop. Just know this. Predators don't stop.
Oh, I'm sure he's grooming
He's a
other
sociopath,
females and
like my
love
brother
bombing
said.
other females.
He's a very sick individual. So what we need to do is just make sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's. And we do not interact with this individual any longer, because I'm no longer going to interact with him. I already said my 2 cents and I'm done. What I need to do is that he stated on one of his live TikToks that he is connected to the Latin Kings gang. So, you know,
That's no.
that.
So I'll tell you right now, that's a lie because he told me I'm very versed in street politics from my past life. He said that he was born in the Caprini Green projects, which is not a Latin King project. So he's lying. He's not from the Latin Kings.
There you go.
He's a dork.
See, again,
he's literally a dork.
well, like, he's not. He tries to infiltrate and tries to utilize things or places where people are aware of, so that he can create fear on people. That's what his tactics are, to inflict fear, like for people to be scared of him. And many of our sisters are, just like you said, Callie. You're fearful of him. Many people out there are scared of him. And until we women and men stop him from doing that, he won't ever stop. Because he'll stop from probably being in this platform and go to another platform and do the same thing. Because that's exactly what he's doing. I mean, literally all day he spent on TikTok, which was about maybe 12 hours on TikTok. Y'all gotta know that there's something wrong with him.
Told you what it seems like is that he has that cult mentality, that cult leader type of thing. So I mean, I agree with Kelly. He's grooming, he's you seen them, okay? And I feel for the sisters out there. I mean, you know what our organization is all about. We're about protecting our sisters way beyond 100%. And little by little, we have to reach out to the sisters and let them know how it is. You know what I'm saying? We're there for the sisters, no matter what. You can't. I just can't see anybody disrespecting the sister. No way, no matter, no shape. You know. And Cuba, to you, brother. Thank you. Thank you for allowing this to yeah, I appreciate that, brother. But the Joseph
No
knows
worries, my
who
brother.
we're about protecting our sisters no matter what. We've done events with Joseph. He knows who we are. But he has that cult leader mentality, which is dangerous for these sisters. You know what I'm saying? That's why I fear for the sisters is that cult
He fakes
mentality. Yeah,
compassion. He's really good at faking compassion. When I told him my child abuse story, he had like crying, like he was crying, and so you feel validated by him. You feel like he really is compassionate. He really care. And then the last week that I started seeing things in his behavior, and there was just something that was off, you know. And little did I know that he was, grooming that person that he was so victimized by. And I'm like, if you're so victimized by her, like, why would you go back to that person if you were so victimized?
Well, again, he is using, and I'm kind of feeling like, you know how I'm feeling, Cuba? Like he's using our people's stories for himself, bro. Like I feel that that's what he's
Right.
And
doing.
that's what I keep saying.
It's a
And
possibility. I mean,
and
it's what the ethnocentrics do as well. So it's highly possible.
because what he keeps on referring to, and I was listening to his stories, he was talking about being essayed at 4 or 5 years old, but then he switched it around. And to me, I swear, I felt like he was just going based on somebody else's story and presented it as himself. And I'm not trying to disregard his story. I'm not, but he just feels that way. And I feel that
Right.
this is what these predators tend to do. And many of our sisters out there that are very vulnerable see this man that is talking this way, very softly, very compassionate, and I'm here for you all. What does predators do? That's exactly what predators do, because they go out to the vulnerable and gullible people. And that's
Right. Because that's all
exactly,
that they can do.
exactly. And once they have all your information, guess what? Now they'll use it against you. That's
Right.
exactly what he does.
So I can say to all the sisters that are in here that are worried about this man, and y'all are trying to figure out how you can stop him from having his following, stopping, just silencing him in general, because he is a predator. I want to let y'all know that what you're doing right now is working. That is the only reason that he came to my platform and attempted to have a conversation with me, attempted to manipulate the conversation the entire time. On top of that, I've been paying attention to his live for the last couple days. I used to pay attention to him a couple months ago, but I kind of just I stayed out of his space because I didn't get a good vibe from him. I wasn't sure what it was, but now I know. The last couple days, he hasn't had no views. You know, he's got his little fans kissing his ass, the ladies that he still has brainwashed kissing his ass a little bit. But he's going to other people's platforms now. He's trying to gain other people's following. He's trying to get new followers because he's already been exposed. People are unfollowing him at a massive rate. People are not paying attention to him no more and not playing into his games. So continue to speak out against him on this platform and on Instagram. Continue to post content about him and cause as much awareness as y'all possibly can to as many people as you possibly can, and he will slowly fade out. Take his power, that the little bit of power that he has,
Yes.
away from him, and he won't be able to do this shit no more.
Yes,
yeah,
and like,
exactly. I mean, last night he
and
was
do
even
not
on
give no more information.
Josie.
Do not give your personal information to any of the
Exactly.
sisters in here and brothers. Do not give nobody your information, because you never know who can turn around and stab you in the back. And I'm sorry to say it, but it's like that. You gotta protect your livelihood.
And Cuba, you know for a fact that Josie's lives are a safe space for the sisters. You know what I'm saying? And for
Oh
him to
yeah,
be,
yeah.
yeah, for him to be spying on the live last night, which I was on also, it's creepy, bro. I'm gonna keep it real with you. It's mad creepy. You know what I'm saying? It's just. I don't know, man. I don't know. Out of respect, I just don't want to say nothing out of word, out of my state of mind, because I'll say something I might regret by him.
Firsthand, I know he's creepy now. Like, I just didn't see it. I didn't want to see it because, like Josie said, he's soft spoken, and to me, I find him good looking, like a good look, because we're about the same age. We're in our 40s. So, like, for me,
He's in his 40s?
yeah, he's like 41. I'm 41. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's age
That's
appropriate,
crazy.
so like it,
Yeah.
but so you see someone, okay, it's age appropriate. It's, like I said, he acts so compassionate. He acts so like he just wants to like know everything about you, and he would ask you questions. And now I'm like, thinking back, I was like, I should have known better.
But don't beat on yourself, sis, because that's exactly what predators do. Predators utilize that's why with human trafficking, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, the reason why, because human trafficking, these predators always go after young girls that are vulnerable, that have a history, and that they can go into them and let them know that how beautiful they are and how awesome they are, and give them these false, expectations and stuff like that. And that's how they groom them. They tend to groom them. And of course, that's how they fall in love with these individuals. And then they get so groomed that they become going to listen to them and get trafficked to different states in different places, and then never be found. This individual does the same thing to our sisters. This individual utilizes their emotions and in every way to manipulate however he wants to do it to them. This is why it's very important that my sisters everywhere understand that these type of men are out there. You do not give no information. And hello?
Yeah.
Okay, sis. And do not bet on yourself, because he manipulated you. He lied to you. He wanted you to be able to feel comfortable enough to share things with him. Meanwhile, he was just utilizing you, just like he's utilized many other sisters.
Right.
And that's exactly what these predators tend to do.
Right. And like I said, I'm just fearful that he's going to release personal conversations, that him and I had over Instagram. I'm terrified. I'm terrified of him. And like I said, he's already gaslit me. He told people I was crazy after he promised to not share a conversation or our parting ways with anybody. He went and did it. He went and told people that he cut ties with me, and then he went and told 2 other girls that I was crazy and I was obsessed with him, and I was upset because I hadn't told anybody what had happened. I didn't tell a soul what had happened. I kept my word, and he didn't. He was telling people I was crazy and I was obsessed with him. Well, you were talking to me every day. You were acknowledging me and validating me, and you were, flirtatious with me. And I mean, I could tell you his whole schedule. That's how much we were talking for weeks. I could tell you his entire schedule.
Well, another piece of advice that I want to give to you now. I know that this is like something hard to digest, right? But with someone like him who shows a lot of sociopathic tendencies, feeding into the fear that he's inflicting into you, right? All that Latin King shit, all that I'm from the ghetto shit, I can do this and I can do that, all that manipulation is to inflict fear.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm not afraid of that portion because I know he's not true gangster. Okay, I come from California. My mom was a drug runner. Okay, no lie. I don't lie about who my mother was. My mother was a drug runner. I grew up around that. Okay. I grew up around one of the worst barrios in California. Okay, I come from that. Thankfully, my dad doesn't, and I was raised by my dad, and my dad worked really hard to get us out and away from my mom. My mom lost custody of my brother and I when I was 7 years old. I'm going to tell you something. Manny's not gangster. He is not affiliated with anybody. He
Oh,
stays in
I
his
know.
basement. He stays in his basement. He's a nerd, literally a nerd. He just stays in his basement all day. Does
Yep, I can
nothing.
tell.
He's literally a nerd.
But yeah, regardless on the whole gangster shit, right? Like that's if you don't want him to pay attention to you anymore, if you want him to block you, mute you, and not pay you a single piece of attention in the world, don't play into the fear. Because the more you play into the fear, the more he's gonna pay attention to you.
I'm
Because
more
that
afraid of
then
him,
he
like I
feels
said,
like
releasing conversations. That's what I'm
okay,
afraid of, him actually just releasing the conversations that we had. Because that would be one
okay,
way he can victimize himself, because you can crop those conversations. You can crop those conversations to make them look like he's the victim and I was after him, you know?
Well, sis, I
right,
believe you, and I don't believe him. So you have one
yeah,
person
same.
right now, right here, and I feel that we have more people standing with you than with him. So just know that.
Yeah, I got you. I got you
Yep.
back too. I don't believe a single word that dude said to me. Just because in the beginning it seemed like I was going with what he was saying, I just wanted him to get comfortable with me so he could expose himself even further. So yeah, no, I stand with y'all 100%. I will
Well, I
always
know he
stand
ain't no
behind. I
gangster.
will
I'm gonna
always
tell you,
stand for a
I know
woman
And
when
you
it
gangster
know
comes to
he
this
me.
shit.
I will always speak my mind, especially when it comes to our sisters. I will speak my mind because enough is enough. We have too many sisters going missing, too many sisters being murdered, and not enough of our people standing up to these type of people. We
Mhm.
need more of people standing up to these type of individuals, cowards that come after us and try to shame us and try to inflict fear in us.
Mhm.
Nah, it ain't gonna work. Where's my
Also,
sisterhoods in here?
also,
Shoot,
we
give
were
us
on
some
a
love,
live.
guys.
I was on a live with another sister with Manny as well, and Manny was pretty drunk that night. And he started like showing us his chest and like almost exposing his body while we were on this live. I just remember that right now, and I was thinking, God, that was so odd. Like we're like really odd. Like why would you like start exposing your chest and yourself like on a live like that? And he was pretty drunk. Like that night, he showed up like so drunk, and supposedly he doesn't drink because he's Red Road Warrior. And what is the Red Warrior? You know, the Red Warrior is a path of sobriety.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Red Road
Red
is
Road is
it's a
sobriety, but
path of
he's not practicing
sobriety.
nothing. Isn't
Now
he
I
claiming
feel
like 6
disrespected because
strikes or something? I don't even know.
that's what I heard, but we're not. You know what I mean? We can sit here and dissect his predatorness and his weirdness, but we're not going to talk about his indigeneity because I'm not comfortable with that. I don't have enough information on that.
Yeah, I don't care either. One thing is that I just want to make sure that our sisters are safe. Nothing more. All right, you guys, I gotta go and rest. You guys have a lovely evening. This
All right.
time I'm out.
Thank you.
Scully, you guys.
All right, I got to go too because I have to go to sleep because I have work tomorrow. But I wanted to speak on what my experiences were with Manny. Like I said, he pretty much love bombed me and groomed me for weeks. And then the minute you question him, the minute you say something he doesn't like, I mean, he attacks. He goes in like full attack mode. And I had to go 3 days of him messaging me. It was awful. Where did Cuba go? Oh, all right, Cuba. Thank you for having me on. I do got to get situated at bedtime. My child has school in the morning, and so I got to get ready. So thank you for
I got
thank
you.
you for listening.
No worries, no worries. Much love, and I hope that this shit all comes to an end because that man is all bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much.
Yep. Have a good night. Now I gotta address a mod. I don't remember what her username is. Blue, right? The end of your username is Blue. I gave you moderator privileges because at the beginning you were blocking the people that needed to be blocked and muting the people that needed to be muted. But now I feel like you are abusing your privileges. You're arguing with my wife about who should be muted and who should not be muted, like as if you have some sort of say over my wife, and I don't appreciate that. So I took all your privileges away except mute. Please don't mute anybody except for people that are being racist, bigoted, highly disrespectful. If I say that I don't like somebody, which is why I understand why you muted CEO, but if I say I don't like somebody, that's not grounds to block or mute them. I allow everybody to be in this live, whether they agree with me, whether they like me or not. Everybody in this live has a chance to speak. I try to keep the peace. I try to keep it respectful. So please don't be disrespecting people while I am distracted with conversation. I'd appreciate it. Let's see, we're gonna let some other people up here. What's up, everybody? Welcome in, welcome in.
Hey. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Really good. I've been sitting in listening to the conversation, and there's been several about this idiot. He's not new to TikTok. His methods are basically the same. And I feel what our sister was talking about being fooled, basically, because when he can talk a good story, but that's where it ends. And all I can say about him personally is he's not a warrior in any sense of the word. Like the rest of our indigenous men, we need to be men. We need to be acting like it. We need to treat our women with respect. And he doesn't follow any of that line. I know Josie's very, very passionate about this, and she has every reason to be. There's too many of, I'm not going to say all indigenous, but there are too many of our indigenous men that are just not using their heads. And I don't know why they get a lot of themselves to get into these dramas, because to me, granted, I'm a lot older, but I don't deal in drama like you. I don't make any decisions unless I know all of the facts. But the things that are presented to me and are there, I will address. It's a bad time for all of us, man. We should all be pulling together. We should all be united. And there's no, I don't believe there's any greater responsibility the warriors got than to protect our women. Because to be quite frank and quite honest, without our women and children, we don't have a future.
That's 100% facts.
Yeah.
Yep, I appreciate your words, brother. Thank you for coming up here and giving your insight on that. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're quite welcome. There's, you know, with the MMIW, it's just gut-wrenching to have that number of our women missing. And I try to support in every possible way I can to the movement. And I would encourage all of my brothers, this isn't a woman's issue. It's our issue too. And I would encourage every one of our brothers at every rally, every prayer meeting, every walk, be out there with them. Be shoulder to shoulder with our women. Show them that we have their back. And speaking with Josie, the attendance of our brothers has not been very well, and that concerns me, because it's not a woman's issue. It's not a woman's fight. It's our fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd just like to encourage our brothers, every chance you get, stand up with our women. Be there with them. Protect them.
And that goes for all men. This is not I know you're speaking from an indigenous standpoint, but like, yeah, whether you're black, white, indigenous, brown, purple, green, I don't give a shit. Protect your women. Protect all women. It don't matter where you come from, what culture you come from. As men, it is our job to protect women and children. That is our fight. And if you can't accept that, you can't get behind that, you're a red flag. 100%.
Yep. Yep, you're absolutely right, because I am speaking from an indigenous position, but it's not only indigenous women. There are other women out there of color and white that this is happening to. And you're absolutely right. It makes no difference the color or the race, religion, or anything else. Women are to be protected by the men. Indigenous men, white men, Asian, black, it doesn't matter. That is our job.
100%. We do got somebody else in the panel. I'm not sure how to say your name. I'm not even going to try to say it because I don't want to disrespect your name, man. But
You
do
could
you have
just call
anything to
me
say?
AJ. It's cool.
AJ. Okay.
Yeah, I seen the questions on there. I just wanted to like have a discussion about the hip hop thing and like see your opinions on it.
Okay.
So like, what necessarily do you mean by the statement? It doesn't belong to anyone.
Hip hop, it doesn't belong to anybody. A lot of people like to say that it is strictly only for African Americans and only African Americans created hip hop, and the statement's just not true.
I agree with that. Only African Americans did not create hip hop, but would you say that it was birthed from black culture within America, like, or you know what I mean? It has its roots within the black
Popular,
community.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Because at least when we're going to talk from a rapping aspect or a lyricism aspect or a popularization aspect, that is 100% due to the African American community. I would never take that away. But I will not deny my people's contributions, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, to the roots of hip hop as well.
Sure. No, I hear that. No, 1000%. Oh shit. Okay. So we don't disagree at all.
Absolutely not.
Sure.
Well, that's good when we all can disagree, when we can all agree on something.
Right. Because
Yep.
some people have these off takes about, you know what I mean, when they say hip hop doesn't, like, I just like to ask everybody, like, what does that mean to you? You know, because
Right,
sometimes like
right.
people try to just erase black people from it. You know what I mean? Which is,
Yep.
you know, I feel like that's just disrespectful.
Oh
It
yeah.
is. It absolutely is. To ignore that, to ignore the African Americans, try to take it away from them completely. That's a form of erasure. So yeah, I ain't about that shit.
That's why I felt where you was coming from, and I was like, that's 100% true. Sure.
Oh, sorry, my
No,
bad. Somebody said I forgot. I forgot Jamaican contribution. I'd never forget about DJ Kool Herc and the Herculoids. I'd never forget about them. I just literally forgot to say Jamaica too.
you know that's if I could jump in, I
Yeah.
I don't understand when people are saying that this came from here, this came from here, this came from here. Everything has an origin, and if it is good, it is shared. What
Right.
what I don't understand is rather than try to say, and I'm going to use you, brother, the African community, the African people. I've seen so much of the African culture and the dances, the regalia. I mean, it's so incredibly beautiful. Why don't we just stop all the bullshit? Take in what other people have to offer in the way of their way of life and just relish the diversity and the beauty of every single culture, because they all have their uniqueness. They all have their special way of doing everything. We are all different. We all have different names for the Creator. We all have different ways of praying to the Creator. We have different ways of celebrating. We have different ways of dancing. We have different songs. Why can't we just enjoy each other's beautiful diversity rather than sit there saying, well, I'm better than you are, or I did this first, or I did that first.
Well, I mean, a lot of the
It,
times, I think that the real issue is like when people not just try to, you know what I mean, share it, but you know what I mean, take it, you know what I mean, and try to, you know what I mean, like make it like, you know what I mean, there was no contribution, like they just did this shit by themselves. Oh, I apologize for cursing on your live, but they just did this
That's
stuff
fine.
like by themselves on their own. You know what I mean? They came up with it
Yeah.
out of their own brain. You know what I mean? And like with no influence. And that's the part that like really
Tacos.
grinds my gears.
Yep.
yeah, we
You
have
know,
all, in one way or another, we have all contributed to each other's cultures. As I just said, if, say, for instance, a ceremony that is good, healing, and strong, other tribes adopted it. And
you know,
that's a way of sharing things.
I'll tell you something about that though. Those, especially when we're talking, sorry, when we're talking about music, authorship is respect. Respecting authorship and origin is respect. And people who really love music know a lot about it and its origins, and authorship is important to them because that's art. You know what I mean? That's beautiful. And it's a big part of what it means. Like when you listen to music, good music, you know, it means something. And part of enjoying that music is understanding the meaning of it. It's only when it gets bastardized, okay, stolen, bastardized, and the meaning of it changes to something that it was never intended to, and it loses its original message, a lot of music has message. Some does not. Some is just, like the dun dun dun, dun, just to like get your brain going, for like study work, But when I was in college, I'd listen to like certain techno music that just, there was no other meaning behind that particular band that I would listen to other than it was just white noise in the background, But most music has meaning. And I think people who are real music lovers appreciate authorship. Just it's part of loving music.
Oh, I have to absolutely agree with you with that, because any artist, be it a singer, songwriter, or someone, puts part of themselves into that art. It's like making a piece of jewelry. You're not just making it, you're putting part of yourself into what you do. And the problem that you're talking about, and I agree with you 100%, is people have lost respect across the board anymore. You have to respect each other and everything. And I agree with you, because it isn't just something that you hear from an artist that's put out there. It's part of himself or her that puts something in it to make it. And you're right.
Yeah, and
It
they
should be
lose really
appreciated.
awesome messages. When they screw with it, they lose a beautiful part of the art, It's not only
Absolutely.
are they losing out, but they're destroying it for everyone else.
Like
Yes.
Macklemore.
Like it well, I've noticed, okay, so I don't know if you guys know who's the guy who did that very abstract music video. I remember syrup sandwiches, and he was talking about like, just like life and making a lot of references and stuff like that. God, what was it? What's his name? Who am I talking about? Fuck.
How old is the
I can't
song you're
remember
talking
his
about?
name. Maybe just a few years.
Oh, I'm not sure then.
Just a few years. God damn it.
Okay, so anyway, okay, so like I'm in my 40s. So when someone would sample a song, okay, it used to be a nod to the previous artist, right? It was literally an insertion, and it's a nod to them, and it was done out of respect, if unless it was stolen. If it was stolen, then there was a court case. It was in the news. It was a big deal. But like generally speaking, when someone sampled someone else's music, it wasn't because they were trying to steal it. They were giving a nod of respect to the artist previous and referencing the song and the meaning behind the song that they're referencing in the first place. It's literally like citation. Okay. But
Right.
now they actually do it differently. And I'm not going to say they're stealing because they're paying the previous artist, right? Like
Sometimes.
Anaconda. They're paying the previous artist, but it's not really a nod to them. It's just utilizing it to create a whole new sound. And they do like mashups and stuff, and some of those are a nod to previous artists and some of them are not. It's a whole new thing of art. I guess the Gen Z think differently than us, and that's okay. That's okay. You know, it's evolution, I guess. I don't completely understand it, but I'm learning to appreciate it.
I think sometimes being a part of, Gen Z, sometimes I think the problem with it is that, you know what I mean, they're sampling these things, but the money isn't actually going to the artist. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just going
Oh,
back
that's
to the
not okay.
people
Yeah, that right
that
there is
own the
some bullshit.
records. Yeah. That's the part that like I can't get with, because like a lot of these companies have exploited artists. You know what I mean? And I'm vehemently against that. You know what I mean?
Don't shake it. Be quiet.
Well,
Because
all
I'm
right,
an
y'all.
artist
So
myself. You know. So,
this
but
was
I
a this was a
appreciate
cool
topic.
live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no worries, man. No worries. This was a cool live, cool. I had some cool dialogue with some people. I'm glad that I got to get a grasp on Red Road Warrior's state of mind and his psychology. I understand the situation completely now. Thank you for everybody who tuned in and sent me evidence for me to play. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are always welcome to come back, and I'm always gonna stand for the women. So, period, point
Hey,
blank.
Shaddix say
Much respect.
Shaddix, men of men.
Much love.
Much love, brothers.